good to see everybody. Bit of a smaller group today, but that just means, we can explore any questions you guys have in great detail. So, looking forward to it. And we all know each other now, so no new people today, but maybe someone else will trail in at some point. But thank you so much for joining tonight, and welcome to session 2 of 8 on beginning Bhakti. Tonight's session is entitled The Pursuit of Happiness. Again, I'm Bradley, and I'll be your instructor tonight, helping to facilitate an understanding of the principles of Bhakti, which can be applied in all areas of your life. So as you can see here, we are on the second session of 8 and the pursuit of happiness. So we'll just be diving deep into that. Kind of what is happiness? How can it be defined? How do different species try to achieve happiness? What makes us as humans different? And how can we go deeper into that and find lasting happiness and not just kind of the temporary, fleeting happiness that I'm sure we're all familiar with. And we'll just get right into it. So we've got 2 videos today. Can everybody hear me okay? All right, awesome. Okay.
The pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is one of the most famous phrases in the United States Declaration of Independence and is considered by some.
I see the video is stuttering a little bit, so I'm going to see if maybe
If it makes you feel better, it was good on my end. I didn't hear stuttering.
History of the English language. All of us are searching for happiness. We perform all of our activities with the hope to increase happiness and eliminate all suffering. Have you ever tried to stop an ant when it's heading towards someplace? The ant goes through your fingers and works its way around the obstacles to somehow find its food or find a better situation. The various species of animals, plants, insects, birds, beasts, and humans try to find happiness in their own way. Yet despite all efforts to find happiness, we encounter so many anxieties that everyone is always looking for relief, a break, or a vacation. Even the polar bear, mice, and bees go into hibernation in the winter, whereas frogs and toads go into deep sleep when it gets too warm. Of course, they're forced by their nature to do so, but humans have the ability to choose their vacations. Sometimes we do find happiness, but it is very short-lived. For example, when we eat food, we feel happy, but after a few hours, we start feeling the pangs of hunger again. Can anyone conclusively say that they have found permanent happiness? Sometimes the happiness we find comes with its own set of miseries. For example, if we eat too much, it can lead to disease. Can anyone conclusively say that they've found pure, unadulterated happiness? At other times, the happiness that we experience is relative to our surroundings and is simply a mitigation of miseries, rather than absolute happiness, which can give complete satisfaction within. Happiness seems to be simply a gap between 2 miserable situations. As the saying goes, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. When a person gets sick, the patient is in agony, but the doctor may be happy to get more business. Can anyone conclusively say that they have found absolute happiness? If we observe carefully, there's a distinct similarity in the way animals and humans search for happiness. The National Geographic and Discovery channels are full of shows about animals, how the different species of animals go about finding their food and how they eat it. We're also shown how the animals make nice arrangements for sleeping, how they build holes or intricate nests without any degree in civil engineering, and defend themselves from other creatures. By nature's arrangement, every animal has been provided with some kind of defense system. A turtle, who's very slow, has been provided with a shell to withdraw. An animal with a fragile body has been provided with speed to escape. We're also shown how the animals procreate and produce offspring. Everything that we see in animal life seems to revolve around the basic principles of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending themselves. An animal may eat raw food, and man may eat cooked delicacies on the top floor of a restaurant, enjoying the scenery all around, but the principle of eating is common. An animal may sleep in the forest sludge, and man may sleep on Tempur-Pedic mattresses or on a waterbed, but the principle of sleeping is common. An animal may procreate in the open, and man may have elaborate arrangements for finding a partner and procreating offspring, but the principle of mating is common. An animal may defend with claws and teeth, and man may defend with bombs and missiles, but the principle of defending is common. However, humans do not find real satisfaction simply by pursuing happiness in these four activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. In spite of technological and scientific advancements, despite possessing money, comforts, and luxuries, people are full of anxieties. We've reached the summit of material civilization. Mobile phones, computer systems, broad highways, fine cars, fast flights, and machines for everything. But people are still dissatisfied. The divorce rate, the suicide rate, depression, the crime rate, all of these are ever increasing all over the world, and certainly these do not signify any degree of happiness. History is filled with examples of affluent people who have everything that one could dream of, and yet have committed suicide or have lived in seclusion due to fear, or have passed away due to drug overuse. Why is man unhappy, even after possessing practically everything necessary for comfortable and luxurious living? Could it be that real happiness lies beyond the four common activities? One may say that animals also have a sense of discrimination. An eagle can sight its prey from miles away. A dog can smell and detect thieves. A cat has the discrimination to drink milk from the kitchen without being detected. Honeybees have a very efficient social setup in which the worker bees go for collecting honey without going on a strike, while the drones take care of the queen who begets offspring. So even though animals have some sense of discrimination, the discrimination power of animals is limited to and does not go beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The animals are not interested in life's bigger picture. The human body has the capacity to go beyond the four principles of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, to inquire into the causes of suffering and the destination of life. At some point in our lives, every human being, whether an atheist or a person of faith, has pondered, "I do not want miseries. I do not want unhappiness. Why is it imposed upon me? I want happiness. I want peace of mind. I want bliss. Why is it eluding me? What is the destination of life? What happens after death? Why is my life ridden with anxiety of facing and tackling one problem after another? Is this all life is meant for? Or is there a life of eternal joy that is never inhibited by sufferings?" In human society, all cultures, traditions, and faiths are founded on the principles surrounding these very questions in pursuit of permanent, pure, and absolute happiness. As the first aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra proclaims, "Now therefore inquire into the absolute truth."
Oh, a lot of info there, but does anybody have any reflections on that video? Any of it found relatable to your life. Seems sometimes, happiness can be a fleeting thing, can seem to escape us even when we try so hard to find it.
Yeah, I think so. I think uh, I think
I
social
think your
contact.
audio is a little, um,
Oh, sorry. Uh, Can you hear me better now?
yes. Yep.
Okay, sweet. Um, yeah, completely feel that way just in general. I mean, I think I try to relate to animals a good portion of my life, and you know, I find the essence in their truth is that they just live presently every single day, and they're energy sensitive, and they're every being, and they're forgiving in every aspect of their life. Of course, some animals, just like people, endure hardships in a different aspect and can create barriers at time. But in the end, I think love is the presence in it all. And uh, I mean, personally, I don't really think about death myself that often.
Mhm.
Some people might, I don't know, but uh, I try to just think about living. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good uh, principle to live by, and certainly we can learn a lot from animals about just how to be in the present moment. Um, yeah, but if you ask, your dog or your cat, like, what is the meaning of life? It might be a little difficult to get an answer out of them. Uh, but definitely we can use animals and nature and our surroundings to help develop an appreciation for creation, an ability to, yeah, be more present and, yeah, not take things for granted. So yeah, I think definitely there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from them. Bree or Christy, any realizations?
It reminds me of the movie Soul when um Joe, the whole he died to achieve exactly what he wanted to achieve as like the highest in his life. And then when he achieved it, he didn't feel the happiness that he thought he would feel about it.
Mm,
And seeing that movie, I've seen it a couple of times, but seeing it impacted me because it made you think of, well, what would make you happy in that? Would it be, your achievements in this, or would it be, these things that we take for granted as, we were just talking about things that we take for granted by not living presently.
yeah, I mean, Soul is probably one of my favorite modern like animated films.
Mhm.
So if anybody hasn't seen that yet, I'd strongly would recommend watching it. I mean, it's very profound and moving and has a lot of, parallels to Bhakti in a way. I mean, the essence of it is that, yeah, true fulfillment can come from our connection to others and finding our purpose in that way. So, yeah. And just like the video said, I mean, history is full of people who have achieved everything, but feel still kind of empty inside. And I know that Jim Carrey is probably a famous example. Uh, and he actually has a quote. He said, I wish that everybody could uh, basically rise to the top, experience everything materially that life has to offer, just to realize that none of it really means anything or can give, true fulfillment. So, I think there is um, something deeper um, than, yeah, having big, nice houses, fast cars, all the money in the world, and really no amount of wealth can buy you even one more second uh, of time here on earth. If it's if it's your time. So yeah, I think being present, that just keeps coming back to that of if you can enjoy, be satisfied in the present moment, you have no need or desire for anything outside of that. Yeah. Christy, any thoughts?
I'm afraid I'm a little under the weather, and so nothing's
Oh,
like
I'm sorry to hear that.
cooking today. It's okay. It's all right. I'm home. All's well. But no, not really.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. All right.
Hope you feel better.
And yes, yeah, another example that I think about sometimes is uh, it's a bit of a crude example, but if you think of, taking, for example, like drinking or smoking, some people they say that they enjoy doing those things. Um, but because that experience comes from a temporary or a material substance, whether that's alcohol or, marijuana or anything like that, it's that experience is created by something that is birthed, uh, grown, it produces some result, it dwindles and then eventually dies. So similarly, the experience, the so-called happiness, is also temporary. So kind of what the end of this first video is getting at is, in order, we by nature are eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So how do we rediscover, reawaken that from within ourselves, and not feel so uh, tied to the temporary pleasures, because they rise and fall, they're fleeting. Um, so yeah, how do we find something more lasting, more permanent? And this next video, I believe, is going to dive a little bit more into that. And this, it's a class or discussion given by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and he was one of the biggest proponents of bhakti. He brought the philosophy of bhakti and countless Vedic scriptures from the East, from India, and translated so many volumes of books from Sanskrit to English, just to make it accessible to the Western world, and arguably to a culture that needs it the most. So, yeah, a lot of appreciation for everything he's done.
Anything with which we have to struggle. This is called struggle for existence, even the modern scientists they call it. It is not a very peaceful situation. The same question was raised by Sanatana Goswami, that why there should be struggle for existence? Why not easy life, peaceful life? Why some outer elements they are giving us opposition? I want to be happy, but there is opposition. That is struggle for existence. This question should be there. Why? Even with a fly we have to fight. I am sitting without doing any harm to the fly, and it attacks. Bothers. So many. Even if you sit down without any offense, just like you are passing on the street, there is no offense, but from one house, all the dogs began to bark. Why you are coming here? Why you are coming? There is no cause of his barking, but because it is dog, his business is why you are coming. Why you are coming. Similarly, we have no freedom to go from one place to another at the present moment. There is immigration department. Why you are coming there? Why you are? In many places we have been refused to enter. We have been refused, or from the airplane. No, you cannot enter. Go back. So I have to go back. So many disadvantages. So padanga jada vipada natesha. In this material world, you cannot live very peacefully. Not peacefully at all. There are so many impediments. The Shastra says, padanga jada vipada. Every stage there is danger. Not only from these lower animals, but from the human society, by nature, on which we have no control. In this way, our life is not very happy in this material world, and we should be advanced in inquiring about it. So why there are so many impediments? That is human life. That is human life. So, how to inquire, how to become happy, what is the goal of life? Sanatana Goswami, not only Sanatana Goswami, he is representing us. We do not know. We do not know. So, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or by the mercy of the servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can be enlightened. That's to be what is the goal of life, why there is struggle for existence, why there is death. I do not want to die, why there is birth. I do not wish to enter into the mother's home and remain packed up, conditioned for so many days. I do not want to become old man, but these things are enforced upon me. Therefore our business is, real business is, how to solve these questions. Not to arrange for economic development. Economic development, whatever we are destined, we shall get it. Either happiness or distress, we shall get it. It's like we don't try for distress, but it comes, it is enforced upon us. Similarly, the little happiness which we are destined to obtain, that will also come. That is Shastra's advice. And don't waste your time to get artificially some happiness. Whatever you are destined to get happiness, it will come automatically. How it will come? Jatha dukkham jatanatah. The same way, that you don't try for distress, but it comes upon you. Similarly, even if you don't try for happiness, whatever you are destined to do, so don't waste your time bothering about the so-called happiness and distress. Better engage your valuable time to understand what is the goal of life, why there are so many problems, why you have to struggle for existence. This is your life.
Beautiful. Well, maybe a little direct, but I think we can all relate to that. I wanted to speak a little bit on, there was a verse that he quoted from one of the Bhakti texts called Srimad Bhagavatam, and in that he says, Yad Yad Vipadam Natesham, and the full verse, it explains that in this material world, there is danger at every step. It's very difficult to cross beyond it, to transcend essentially the miseries of this material world. Of course, as he explains later, we're all destined to have some happiness and some distress. It comes without our even trying or endeavoring for it. But the last part of that verse, it says that for one who inquires into the absolute truth and surrenders ultimately to that truth, the distress and the miseries of this world appear like the calf's hoof print, and it becomes very easy to step over it, to cross beyond it. So, yeah, I think the essence of um, this talk here is that when we accept that, um, without endeavoring, without trying, every person, every animal, every species, every living thing is destined to have some happiness and distress. Uh, and when we accept that, we can begin to uh, cross beyond it and experience something deeper. So, anybody have any thoughts on what we saw here? And I know that sometimes his voice can be a little difficult to understand, but there were subtitles, so I hope that it was a little easier to read. But yeah, I found the more that I listen to these talks, it's easier to understand kind of the essence of what he's saying.
One of the things that really struck me was how reassured I was when he said that happiness will come the same way distress will. Like, I don't have to work for it, I don't have to build it, it'll just
Mm.
come. And that kind of made me sigh in relief. Like, okay, I could just wait. I don't have to
Yeah,
struggle
yeah,
so much.
yeah. I mean, at least me personally, I have experienced just trying so hard to achieve something, and just kind of feeling like I'm being, stopped at every moment. Like there's just so many impediments and struggles that I am trying to overcome just to like achieve this thing, or you know climb that metaphorical mountain and, yeah, achieve that happiness. But whether I try or not, it will come or it won't come. And really, I just have to realize that it's out of my control. Of course, I'll do what I can reasonably, but we also don't want to over endeavor and, overexert ourselves. And yeah, then it's like the more that you want something, the less likely it is, um, for you to achieve that, for it to come to you. And yeah, the more that you're kind of detached from it, maybe the more that it attracts itself to you. Yeah. Uh, Bree, any realizations?
Yeah, kind of going off of what Christy was saying. Um, I also had a sigh of relief because the fleetingness of um I guess suffering and enjoyment um, also tells me that if I am in one of those episodes of suffering, then it's not a permanent thing. And so when you're in situations where, there's distress all the time and you're in it, it's hard to see, that end or the light at the end of the tunnel,
Mm,
because you're in it, right? And so you don't know that the situation could be something that you could look at 10 years from now and be like, oh yeah, this was a crazy situation. So it's really relieving to understand that not, yeah, there will be enjoyments, and those are given to us, within our designated times. But then also when I am in whatever sufferings that's going on, it's not a permanent thing, it's a temporary thing. So it'll pass. So that makes me feel reassured, okay, here we go. And then there's an end to it, right? So nothing's
yeah,
permanent.
yeah, yeah. I love that very much. And we can almost see suffering and enjoyment or happiness as like two sides of the same coin. Um, of course, we tend to think it feels better when we're happy. But I think we can also see suffering as an opportunity, for growth, almost like a catalyst, and we can be like a phoenix and rise from the ashes, so to speak. Um, but I something my partner says a lot to me is that things don't happen to me, they happen for me. So, yeah, even, and it's so easy when we're, like Bree said, deep in the middle of the suffering. It's hard to separate yourself from that and see a way out of it. Uh, but if instead we can almost go deeper into it and uh, surrender to that suffering, it can be one of the most positive things that could happen to us. As she said, you could look back years down the line and see that, all these things ultimately made me who I am today, made me a better person, learned so many lessons from them. So yeah, sometimes the shadow, the darkness, it can be one of our greatest teachers. And again, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a a bhakti yogi, and her name was Queen Kunti, and she was a family member of Krishna, who was, we chant the Hare Krishna mantra at Bhakti Studio, and we do kirtan. But essentially, Krishna means all attractive, and one of the names of a higher power. And you can assign any name that you are familiar with. But her, she prayed that these sufferings, these calamities, let them come, let them happen again and again, because in that suffering state, it becomes so much easier for me to remember you. Uh, and she's speaking about Krishna. So uh, it's easy when things are going really well. We kind of sometimes like our spiritual gratitude can not be as apparent. Uh, and we might think that all of these things that are happening to me, they're due to my work and my sacrifice. But it's much easier when we're kind of in that distressed situation to reach out to something beyond us and ask for help. So, yeah, just my little thoughts there. Vida, any thoughts you have?
Um, I think through my experience, I agree in terms of like through all the hardships that I've experienced personally or the ups and downs in life that have been extreme at many times. Um, what I've gained in knowledge from that for so many years is that I have faith no matter what, and no matter how hard it gets. And it doesn't, it, I understand that it's just a process and it's just a moment in time. It always is. It always transforms. It always does. It doesn't mean that I'm comfortable or that I feel right or I feel great or I feel sometimes crazy and sometimes even one thing that has been hard for me to understand is a lot of the times when you say surrender to that fear or to that place of complete surrender, a lot of the times to me, I think I feel scared of getting going crazy.
Mm.
Like uh, it just seems like you can surrender so much. I can be completely open, completely vulnerable, completely present. But it feels like in that place continuously, if you I mean, if you completely surrender, it's like you lose complete self-control
Sure.
in
Yeah.
one place. So I think that part's been a hard place for me to understand.
Yeah. No, that's totally relatable, and I absolutely see where you're coming from
It's a good point.
there. And did you have something to add, Bree?
No, I like the point. I did
Oh
have
yeah,
anything, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
sure. Yeah. Um, so yeah, surrender, it doesn't mean just kind of blind faith or just complete abandon of, you know, rationality or um, yeah, critical thinking. And I think that's where having kind of a system or a moral compass comes into play. So yeah, I think essentially realizing that there are things that are out of my control, uh, but the things that are in my control, I will do my best to change those things to create a better situation. And there's a lot of parallels between bhakti and the 12 step, the recovery process, for people who struggle with, addiction and things like that. And yeah, the serenity prayer that is kind of almost like a North Star for that 12 step process just talks about um, allow me to accept the things that I cannot change, change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I think the wisdom is a key part there. Um, and as me personally, as I've dove deeper into the philosophy of bhakti and the practical experience that I've had, um, yeah, it's a way to be able to navigate those challenging times and not lose your sanity or your sense of self. If anything, it helps you to regain and strengthen um, your identity, um, and yeah, shift it from a an ego driven experience of like me, my uh, like this is all me trying to get out of this situation into um, I'm going to surrender essentially to the will of a higher power of the universe, whatever level you relate to, um, and use my past experiences to help guide me there. Um, and if something doesn't feel right, you can adjust as you go. It's not just a um, like a complete abandon of um, like your mental facilities or anything like that. Yeah, I definitely want to be intelligent and um, yeah, strong in those situations. Does that help at all?
Yeah, it definitely helps. I mean, and it clarifies just in the understanding because I think that like with a lot of spiritual teachings on all aspects and all different levels, as we all interpret them differently through whatever we absorb universally and energetically, I think that sometimes, even certain mentors, certain mystics, certain teachers, certain spiritual aspects of understanding do and don't always resonate with each individual platform of another energetic spirit. And
Mm,
so moving forward through certain teachers, sometimes or my understanding is just that I have a hard time sometimes um, feeling that same platform in the same exact way that another person is presenting it or another energy is presenting it. So agreed though.
yeah, and
And
I
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and I think it's always very important to maintain a healthy amount of uh, I don't know if skepticism is the right word, but definitely curiosity and willingness to ask those questions and yeah, not just kind of accept things at face value, but to really get to the heart of um, the teachings and if that's something that you can apply in your life. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't recommend just going in blind and kind of mindlessly following what somebody tells you to do. Uh, Another analogy is some say the proof of the pudding is in the eating, or uh, you can explain what honey tastes like. You can feel the outside of the jar. You can describe it in so many ways, but until you open the jar and taste the honey, only then can you actually understand uh, what honey is. Um, so yeah, and especially with bhakti, there is a lot of philosophy if you're interested in that and want to explore that. But the essence really is to um, love others, love things outside yourself, love a your higher power. Um, and I think we can all accept that there is kind of a force greater than us that is behind everything. So, in whatever way that resonates with you, um, find a way to connect with that and to um, essentially like be in love with that. And that can help you in turn to love everyone around you, love the animals, love the plants, and love the happiness, love the suffering. It's all connected. And I don't mean to sound all woo woo, but I think that practically that can be experienced. So yeah,
I
All right.
agree. Thank you.
wonderful. Bree, you had something to share on that last point?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it perfectly, but my understanding of it from at least my own experiences and perception, I can explain it in two ways, and I'll try to go as quick as possible. So say, this example, usually me, I have to be at work at 8:30 in the morning because I have this extremely huge presentation. So I do exactly what I'm supposed to do, getting up at 5 o'clock, doing all of my things that are like very aligned with having a productive day. And I get on the road an hour and a half early so then I can make it to my job that is 30 minutes away, just so then I can prepare. So I do everything that's right, every single thing. And as I'm going through these situations, my dog decides that she wants to run away. I have to go and get her because, she can't be out in the wild, especially I have a small dog, they're eagles. Then, my son needs help on all these things. And so I'm running around and rushing now. And so now I make it out, in the highway an hour and a half early, like I wanted to. Huge traffic accident. I'm on the road for about an hour and 15 minutes. Get into the office, somebody's like, I have this that needs to be done right now. And so my desire was exactly to be extremely on time, get to my presentation, doing all the things right. That was my intention, that were my actions, but it just never happened. And so my understanding of surrender is to understand that, I did the best that I could, but this was what was in the cards. This was what
Mm,
was in the cards. And accept that, and so that's how I understand it. And then I had a small understanding but through a story. So like there was a lady who was on a train and she was sitting in her assigned seat per the ticket that she had purchased. There was a gentleman who wanted to um, trade her seats because he wanted to be next to a friend of his so then they can, have an enjoyable time. She pushed back and said, I don't want to trade my seat. His seat was not in a very favorable place, and she had purchased a very nice seat. He argued with her to a point where, the passengers of the train are like, just trade the seat already, you're ruining everything. So she surrendered to that. So she goes to the unfavorable seat. The train goes on to wherever the destination was going to be and gets into an extreme accident. The person who was so many of the people in the train were extremely injured, but there was one fatality, which happened to be that gentleman who had traded the seat of the woman. And so she could have gone in a way to say, no, I'm going to keep the seat. I don't really care. Or she could have surrendered like she did and said, okay. So then in her mind, she's like, oh, there's a higher power that was looking out for me. But that is the form of surrender that I understand when it comes to situations like that, more so
yeah.
than the deeper pieces that we were talking about as well with understand like having faith and conscience and education and not going in so blind and whimsically. It's
Mhm.
more so understanding, okay, so God, man proposes, God disposes type of understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, I love both of those stories. I mean, they definitely sum it up really well. And yeah, it can be as simple as I planned things to go this way. I did everything right, but still things went wrong. Uh, Therefore, there's a force outside of me that is kind of directing what goes on. Um, and in the second story, you know, it might seem like I surrendered to that angry man who wanted my seat, but uh, looking back, we can see maybe there was a orchestrator, a conductor, so to speak, behind all of that who wanted to protect me and kind of urged me in a way to um, yeah, to pick the safe option. So yeah, it's all about perspective, kind of zooming out. It can be really easy to get frustrated when things don't go your way. But if we can change our perspective, zoom out a little bit, then yeah, I think it can be a little bit easier to understand those situations and um, to see them ultimately for our benefit. Yeah.
So we have a saying in surgery that the patient heals in spite of what we do. Because sometimes like things don't go as we've planned. Like surgery didn't go as well as we'd hoped. And sometimes, nonetheless, the patient does fine. And of course,
Mm,
the converse is also true. I'll tell patients that I can do perfect surgery, but that's not where the magic happens. The magic happens in the body with the healing. Like, and there's nothing that I can really do to influence that past a certain point.
right.
And yeah, and it's hard when you know, when it doesn't go the way that we want it to, and we can say
Yeah.
all that, but truly believing it is sometimes another thing.
Yeah. And of course, in the medical field, like the recovery process is so vital and important. And yeah, of course, there's that outside element that has a play. But I think also just that human will to live, to survive, to persevere, um, and to overcome those challenges. That's very present also. So,
And when people
yeah.
don't have that, we can't give it to them.
Yeah. My partner's grandma, she's in an assisted living facility, and they gave her some diagnosis. It's like failure to thrive or something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she lost her partner years before that, and yeah, kind of just almost forgot her identity in a way. Yeah, and her will to live essentially. So, yeah, it's so important to find and hold on to like that driving force in your life to keep you moving forward, and that can be a source of happiness as well. Okay, so what is the best thing that happened to all of you this past month? And I'll go first. So I'm kind of in a career change at the moment, and looking for so many different jobs, applied to hundreds of positions, and was getting really discouraged about the results. A lot of no replies, a lot of we've gone with someone else, and just a few interviews. But one of those interviews then turned into I'm a top candidate for that position. So, um, and haven't heard back yet, but I'm also trying to surrender to that. That's an ongoing process that the job hunt is kind of out of my hands, but at the same time, I'll do everything um, within my power to make it happen. Um, But the person who interviewed me, um, they were just like very curious because on my resume, I have that I was a monk for a few years because kind of like my work history isn't that extensive. I worked some, you know, seasonal jobs in high school and college, but after college, I was in the temple and then I moved home and did real estate with my mom for several years. So my page isn't that long, but there are so many skills that I think can be transferred into the workplace, like mindfulness and, you know, ability to handle um, difficult situations and many things going on at once, like working under pressure kind of thing. And she saw that and she was like, "Oh, I used to be in the Buddhist community and lived there for a while." And like half the interview, we just spent talking about like spiritual life. And so I think one way or another, we were put in each other's lives and crossed paths so that we could share that with each other. And whether or not I get the position is one thing, but I think just that um, circumstance was uh, very interesting and meaningful. So yeah, anybody want to share the best thing that happened to you this month?
Okay, I'll go. Uh, you know, it's been quite an interesting few weeks. Start of the new year. I feel like a lot has taken place and a lot of different energies and a lot of ups and downs already in a really short period of time. Um, I will say that I sold a piece of art and that
Mm.
was pretty awesome because I also am not working currently and I'm looking for, I'm not sure, but I commend you on trying continuously because it is really hard right now finding, as a person who is spiritually in tune with themselves, finding the fit that feels good to be
Mhm.
happy while working on a regular basis is so important and sometimes really hard to attain. And
Mhm.
so that is something that has been a big challenge for myself. And I'm an artist, but I'm not making enough money to pay all my bills through art. But I did sell a piece of art, and that was pretty awesome. It was to somebody who like really loved the art, and it was just a regular person. It wasn't like a person who had a bunch of money, or it was just like a person who just bought it, and it felt like they reached out later and just told me how much they loved it, and they sent a song that and just it really felt illuminating to my soul that they absorbed it so well. So that was one of my
Wow.
big highlights.
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, yeah, definitely. I mean, I originally went to school for music. I played trumpet, but then kind of transferred everything to like guitar and drums, keyboard, and all that. But yeah, definitely, it's hard being a an artist and a spiritually minded person out here in the world can be difficult. But yeah, when you find those people who really see you and appreciate the things that you can offer to the world, yeah, it's so meaningful, so fulfilling. Uh,
Yeah. I
yeah,
went to
I
school
don't
for
know
sound
if.
engineering and that I love
Oh,
music
cool.
too, but yeah, music. I wish I knew how to play an instrument. I don't.
Yeah, I love sound engineering too. I mean, one of my dreams, if money was like no object, would be to own like a music studio or and record label and like offer that service to people that maybe don't have access to going to like, a big studio or record label or something, but just giving people the opportunity to, there's so many talented people in the world and yeah, just giving them more access to put their put their talents out there. I don't know if everybody in the group on the WhatsApp group has the ability to share, but if you want to post like some of your art in there, I'm sure we'd all love to see it. Yeah. Bree or Christy,
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
good happen?
Um, just keeping the same, arena of jobs, forgive me. Um, I had been a surgeon for 22 years in Wisconsin in a small town. Really good reputation, really good, patient base. And but I was an employee of a massive multi-state Catholic healthcare organization that out of the blue, no warning, fired me.
Mm,
It was shocking. Um, but it ended up being a hard period of time because so much of my identity was wrapped up with that. Um, and as I first had to decide, do I want to keep doing this? Like I've had a good career, maybe transition to something else. And once I did that, I started looking for jobs. And a lot of them wanted a surgeon that was comfortable with working with surgical robotics. And in a small town in Wisconsin, you do not buy a $3 million
mm,
robot to do surgery with. So that wasn't me. And I was kind of sad about that I had this great training and, really knew a lot about what I was doing, but I had never had the opportunity to do that. And so I was just kind of being dismissed out of hand. And then I got this job, which thank heavens I didn't get any of the others because this was exactly where I was supposed to be. Like
mm.
it's my dream job. It was higher than I would have known to wish for. Like I didn't know this was a possibility. And
Mm.
and so I've been enjoying the heck out of that. And they are now paying for me to learn robotics.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I know, especially like with jobs, but just life in general, it can be hard to realize our own worth and to appreciate like, skills that we have or things that we have to offer to the world. So, yeah, and especially when an outside source, person or company or whatever it is, can see that in you and
Mm.
appreciate and help cultivate that. Yeah, it does so much for you. I mean, it boosts your confidence, and I'm sure in turn you're able to offer more to um, your clients and everything like that. So,
That's something I somewhat struggle with is I wish I wasn't so dependent on these external forces for my validation, for my worth. That's something that I'm very much working on to have that
yeah,
inherent value and believe it. Like I believe it with other people. I don't believe it with me.
yeah, hearing it and knowing it in theory is one thing, but experiencing it and like truly um, understanding it is a whole other thing. Yeah. Okay. Bree, did you want to share?
Um,
Or
I'm
we
also an
can,
artist.
yeah.
I also went to school for art. And so I get it, all of the things. And so in the it's interesting in the spirit of surrendering, I'm a portrait artist, and so that's what I went to school for. That's my passion. I love that. But even in college, I was always kind of like I was told like you need to do this type of art instead of this type of art, and I was snooty like no, blah blah blah. Um, and so I stopped working as an artist after college because, it wasn't what I wanted. And a lot of the times when, um, I would offer some type of art or if I were to do some type of project, it would be based off of whatever whomever is doing an art show wanted and not really what came from me. So I stopped that and I went to HR and then it's a whole thing, right? So so in this month specifically, well, so I've surrendered to the fast forward, I have surrendered to the fact that the art that seems to be hitting people the most is not are not my portraits at all. It's more of jewelry making.
Mm.
And so I've been working on that for a few years now, and I've received more assignments this year, which is really touching just because and I don't sell them or anything like that. It's a service to me. It's a service for me. So I create these things and then I offer them. But because people seem to like them, I've had no attention to a whole bunch of attention for it. And now it's like I'm trying to catch up on all the requests that I'm receiving. So this month was when it hit me like, oh God, I gotta
Mhm.
actually take some time to actually to do these things, which is what I love. My job is not something that I look at with my identity at all. Is so this piece, which I do, I mean, art is life for me. So this piece I feel major fulfillment on because it's something that I love and it's a topic that I love. And it seems that other people seem to like it as well. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, love that. And yeah, it's something that you didn't even expect because you had such a passion for the
something.
portraits. But yes, yeah, something unrelated just began to resonate with people. So
Mhm.
yeah, and I'm sure you'll find that same fulfillment doing that, and maybe one day you can make a portrait out of jewelry or something
That'd
like
be
that.
cool. I still do portraits, by the way, but
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be wild. I'm not gonna lie. I know artists who do that. It's
Mm.
3D though. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like blend both
Yeah,
mediums and yeah, make something totally
absolutely
unique.
wild.
Okay. So we've been breaking out and discussing quite a lot. I'm sure that my method of doing this is different from kind of maybe how it was designed to, but I just go with the flow and just want to explore everything with everybody. So, what are the similarities between human beings and animals? Can anybody tell us? There's four things.
With the eating, sleeping, mating, and protecting.
Yes. Yeah. So, everybody, every living thing, they need to eat, need to survive, they um, need to sleep, they need to recharge. They don't need to reproduce, but that is kind of the driving force behind um, creation and nature. And to defend, every living thing has the will to survive and the drive to continue their living, their existence. Now, what distinguishes the search for happiness between humans and animals? And it was touched on at the end of the first video and explained in further detail in the second.
An animal's not conscious of themselves.
Yes, yeah, and an animal cannot inquire into their happiness or distress, their suffering. But humans, we are able to um, look into the meaning of life and discover that for us. And an animal, they're kind of just operating on instincts and their biological programming. So, but we have the intelligence to kind of dig deep into that and yeah, see the reason behind all of it. So, moving on to number three, technological advancement has given several facilities to human beings today. No animal can dream of inventing such things. Is that what makes humans special? Vita?
Can you say that again, like slower?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, technological advancement has given several facilities to human beings today. So, we've built these huge skyscrapers and electric cars that go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. And we've built, uh, so many facilities, hotels and pools and vacation spots and all that. And animal, they they could never do uh, those things. Not even monkeys, who are pretty intelligent by um, animal standards. But is that what makes us special?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think it makes us, I think it harms the world. I think a lot of it is creating a false identity and a false, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's mixed, for my understanding, there's mixed you could look at like some people think the advancement, say, even in medical field or the advancement of medicine, the advancement of robotics, that's the one thing that I think for that I could see the positives, like say, for example, robotic surgery, as you were talking about. I could see that being a positive aspect, but then again, I am such a person conflicting with Western medicine, like in my personal understanding and through a mistrust in my own self of what I've experienced and also some family members around me through Western medicine. And that doesn't mean that there's a lot of people it helps and there's a lot of people that need it, but that's just one aspect versus like technology of cars. I think computers is creating an awareness that's over awareness that overstimulates people to the place where your conscious mind can't even understand barely consciousness because you're so distracted by the continuous feed of nonstop everything. So I I see it, but I mean, honestly, I'd rather throw me in the middle of a rainforest and I'll figure it out. Like, sounds like a way more exciting plan for me personally. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and so many of these advancements, I'm sure they started with good intentions, from like the inventors and so many great minds. I mean, it takes uh, incredible intelligence and determination to create these things and have the vision for that. Uh, but yeah, once it gets in the hands of greedy people who just want nothing more than to collect more and more, and take things that aren't necessary, then yeah, those things that may have started out pure, they ultimately are just bringing a lot of destruction and pollution and suffering to people, the earth. I mean, this earth is such a blessing and a gift. And, it really, the earth can provide kind of everything that we need. But we are, in a way, just disrespecting so many parts about the earth and using it just for, yeah, personal gain, trying to create a permanent home, a permanent situation, in a temporary world. So yeah, definitely the more that um, we can realize that, and of course acknowledge things that are beneficial and take advantage of that. But yeah, having, again, the wisdom or the discernment, the intelligence to see what is helpful for humanity and what is um, causing anxieties for for us. Yeah, and then the ability to put those things down when they aren't serving us anymore.
I also think that a lot of the advancements create a buffer and a place for people to tap into instead of themselves. And so I think in our new world that we're all living in and our current technology and society and everything that's come, I think so many people look to something outside of themselves for happiness, whether it be so many aspects of that. And I
Mm.
just think that it eliminates the internal aspects of looking within and also the ones that are closest to you, even ancestrally, and keeping those places close to you in understanding of your own belief system and moving forward in knowledge for your personal roots too. And
Yeah, yeah. And now, there are studies that are um, showing that like social media and scrolling and phone addiction is like in some ways even more harmful than some substances. Like it's just completely rewiring our receptors in the brain and, our ability to feel human and socialize and make connections with um, the people around us. And yeah, the ability to just sit with yourself. I know so many people who like they sleep with the TV on, or they have, um, just music playing all day, and they just don't want to sit with their thoughts. They don't want to confront, um, themselves and kind of do that inner work. But if you have something to just distract you all the time, then there's no need for you to look within and inquire into why you're feeling this way. Why are we suffering? So, yeah, definitely there's so many buffers, so many barriers in today's society that are, yeah, putting walls between us and our ability to, yeah, just find peace, find contentment.
I agree. Um, I want to play the other advocate though, because I think that a human being, they have the advancement to creating things that could help other human beings. I think that that advancement does create a special um, blessing for human beings to have if it's used in a correct way. And so I think that technological advancement, if used to not strengthen your desire to have those animalistic propensities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, if you don't use the technology for that and you use the technology in ways to advance, medical research or even advanced, receiving um, knowledge that could help you understand yourself internally, then it could be used for good. And so that and all, it is, I think, a special it's a special ability that humans have. I think that humans abuse it by instead of going inward, they strengthen those animalistic propensities within themselves. So you see like, oh, I should be this beauty standard so then I can receive more options for mating or look at all this food here that I would love to eat or travel around the world to enjoy or you see like extreme violence around the world, and then you start feeling that you need to defend yourself or you need to defend your country or you need to defend all these things. And so I think we're abusing what we could use to help us.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think some of the later sessions might touch on this, but one of the key differences of bhakti, or of, a developed spiritual practice is having the knowledge to um, use
Mm,
everything at our disposal for a spiritual purpose. Um, we're using Zoom right now, which is, a massive platform, huge company, um, and, electronic technological software, which I'm sure in the past has been used to promote so many things. I'm sure like CEOs of billion-dollar companies get together on here and talk about how to, you know, improve their business or just make more money, things like that. But we're using it to inquire within and to talk about the deeper topics of life and spirituality, who we are, why we're suffering, why we're enjoying. So, yeah, having that knowledge to be able to see things in relation to a higher purpose uh, is, I think, probably one of the most significant things that separates us from animals and uh, can ultimately, in a sense, liberate us from uh, the shackles of like modern material life. So, and even like, you're eating a really delicious meal, uh, one person could think, man, I'm just so hungry. I just want to gorge myself and uh, enjoy this like to my fullest capacity. I don't care if I fall over later from, you know, eating so much and I'll just pass out. But the spiritually minded person, they could look at this plate of food and, feel this immense gratitude for, the earth being able to grow all these things and, um, thankful for the rain that fell that helped grow those crops and um, all of those things. So yeah, again, I think just zooming out, going back to that, um, it helps to be able to use everything in a positive way. And I don't think anything really has to be rejected or put to the side. So yeah, yeah.
I'll be,
There's Go
I'll be
ahead.
very brief, but I think it's our constant striving desire for more. And it's like a turtle, with the protective shell that's on its back and can't move. Like it's a great thing and it's an awful thing. I mean,
Hmm.
we're here striving for more meaning and spirituality. Um, I mean, I think it's just i- inherent in being human is that dissatisfaction and wanting to level it up.
Yeah, I was talking about the exact thing with my girlfriend today. We went and saw a movie about this guy playing ping pong, Marty Supreme. But before the movie played, there were all these previews of these like super scary movies or like bank heists and robbery and all this, just over the top, extravagant things. And uh, I remember like as a kid being excited to go to the movies and see like, there's like these wholesome stories of like, people coming together and loving each other and all that and kind of what happened to that. But I think modern society, like as you're saying, just want more and more and we can't be satisfied with just like a good heartwarming story or something just as simple as that. Like they always have to be reinventing and being louder and bigger and scarier and all that just to like try to capture our attention. But yeah, that's very insightful. So we've gone pretty over time, um, and we have shared kind of things that bring us happiness and unhappiness through so many stories. But if anybody just has any final thoughts on the session today, then would love to hear them.
I really enjoyed our session. I thought it was
Wonderful.
great and I enjoyed communicating. It's really nice to have present communication with others. I will be honest, I don't always love Zoom and I don't always love being on a computer talking to people. I really love
Hmm.
personal engagement, but I will say in this group, I really enjoy the consciousness and the awareness, and it's been a wonderful insight and understanding, and I'm grateful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that really means a lot, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I think, we only have
Thank
four
you.
people here today, but somehow we talked for an hour and a half and just, yeah, explored so many different topics. And I feel very fulfilled, very happy um, for this opportunity. So, yeah, thank you all for joining us. Yes.
I just think the intimacy is so nice. Sorry, Christy, I didn't mean to jump in front of you. But, I just think that it's so, like you said, there's only four people, but just being able to be having intimate talk with people so directly is so nice because that is one thing that I think we lack a lot in this world, and that it's so hard
Mm,
to find interpersonal connections that feel authentic and real. So I agree.
yeah.
And I think they're healing because I feel better.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm gonna be looking forward to this all week for the next one. Um, Yeah, and we like there I'm sure you all have friends who like you love dearly, but they're kind of the a bit of the surface level interactions that you have with them. Like there's certain people, friends or family, like you're not really able to go deep with them, and they kind of just want to have a good time or relax together. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but yeah, having the chance to really see people on a deeper, a soul level, it's so important. Yeah.
I appreciate the transparency with, any curiosities and stuff like that. I think inquisitiveness is the greatest gift that anybody could have. And so I always appreciate when people have questions or if there are people who come with different perspectives. It's really eye-opening to be able to understand from other people's point of view. So I always gain from conversations like that.
Mm. Yeah, and even as somebody who has been practicing bhakti for 7 or 8 years at this point, really, like, I'm just a baby, and there's always so much more to learn. And when anybody asks me a question, just try to take that as an opportunity for me to learn more, for me to dive deeper. And yeah, there's never like a level that you come to and you're like, yep, I'm good here. Don't need to learn anymore. I'm satisfied. But just the nature of spiritual life is there's always more. It's an infinite, um, you know, pool, or like a deep well of wisdom and realizations. And yeah, those are just things that can come at any stage of life, and yeah, just continuously. So thank you all for inquiring, for challenging me and sparking these discussions. So appreciate it very much. And yeah, thank you all for coming, and hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. I'll share the notes from today's class or session in the WhatsApp group, and yeah, tell your friends, and hopefully you can get some more people next week and share it with everybody. So thank you so much for coming, and take care.
Thank you so much. I'll
Yeah.
see you tomorrow.
Good night.